All right, looks like we're live. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna just post this link. Just gonna post this link real quick. All right, believe I just posted it. Let me know if you got that, and then we'll get on our way.
All right. Yep, it's on your Twitter. All right, let's do this.
You ready?
Yep.
Alrighty. So yeah, I'm Chargers Truther again. I try to do these weekly podcasts. Bring in a whole bunch of guests. And today, special guest, my good friend Josh, Sharks Josh. We're super big 49er fan. We went to high school together. We played football together. Hung out a lot together, and we're just some buds. And I'm a diehard Chargers fan. He's a super diehard 49ers fan, and also other fans, other fan of other teams. So, we'll just start off by Josh. How about you tell us how you got into 49ers, being a fan of the 49ers, and your sports fan, history, I guess. And I'm gonna crack this beer right here, Stella Artois.
Nice. That's always my beer of choice if I had to choose.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. So I don't know if you can see the link or what you'll listen later, but either way, SharksJosh95 on Twitter. I'm primarily known for talking about Sharks, 49ers content, but because we're talking football, I'll just focus on that. The thing is, I became a sports fan 20 years ago because I didn't really have a lot to talk about. I was a quiet kid. And then my dad kept putting on sports over and over and over growing up. It finally resonated with me when I went to a Sharks game a while or later on when I was like 8 years old. And then football took place in the fall. That's when I really got into just all the Bay Area teams in general. But when the Raiders left in 2018, it basically gave the 49ers the entirety of the Bay Area region. And I've been continuing to rep them more and more ever since that year. And it's awesome just being able to root for a team that's 25 minutes away from where I live because they're in Santa Clara. So
Mm-hmm.
every year I've gone learned more and more about them, been more and more excited, and as I get closer to the Super Bowl, I get more and more pumped. So it's a great time just being able to support the team, form a community in my hometown, and
Mm-hmm.
just to be around a great like Twitter community in general. So it's awesome being a 49er fan. I will say that.
Yeah, yeah, I could imagine. You guys. Lately, you've had 2 years. You almost made the Super Bowl in a row. I think back-to-back NFC Championship losses. Is that right?
Yep. 21, 22, lost the last 2 years. They both hurt in different ways, but I'm still proud of how they got to where they did when it's all said and done.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine that. Hang on, give me 1 second. Let me change my headphones real quick. Hold on 1 second.
No worries.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Yeah, these headphones right here. One of the left one is broken. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, yeah, that's super cool. 49ers are all successful. I really admire the 49ers in a lot of ways. I admire your physicality, your presence in the trenches. Run the ball, stop the run. I think the 49ers and Chargers are pretty interesting contrast because they are kind of opposites. I kind of get the idea that they're opposites. 49ers are nasty in the trenches, but their weakness, I would say, is probably their pass game. Would you agree?
That's definitely been something we've been trying to figure out for a good while now. Even just once Cap left the team in 2017 and Shanny started, we've we didn't really have a long-term solution until the trade for Jimmy, and then we realized he kept getting hurt and we couldn't rely on him.
Hmm.
And he also was getting a little worse in the playoffs. So what we would do is we would draft Trey Lance, and he's been getting hurt. He hasn't been getting reps. He's really raw for a win now team. So it's just gone from trying out one quarterback after another. But I
Hmm.
think we found our answer with Brock Purdy, which was honestly just pure luck. Like,
Yeah.
having Mr. Irrelevant be a really good starting quarterback, that is
Yeah.
definitely it's unheard of, honestly.
Yeah. What a story, right? What a story.
Oh, no doubt. And I mean, I grew to like just absolutely love him. He got better
Hmm.
every game, and he had such a good game against Seattle, easily better
Hmm.
than any of Jimmy's playoff games. And I mean, the stats he was in pretty against Dallas, but he didn't turn the ball over, and they ended up winning. So,
Hmm.
but but yeah, like I told you earlier, if we switch quarterback situations, you all would probably be a little more mediocre, and we would be talking dynasty in the Bay Area, competing with the
Yeah.
Warriors.
No, I mean, if we gave you guys Justin Herbert, we would pretty much be bottom of the barrel team, I believe. I don't want to be rude to the team. Like, again, I know I'm so critical of this team. It really turns a lot of fans off. I understand, but it's okay. It's okay just because I'm just speaking my truth, what I believe to be true. I've watched the team for so long, and it's just like, how many years can you go without, having a run offense, a rush offense, rush defense? And what I like about the 49ers is that they kind of prove that you don't need to put everything into the pass offense. You can get the defense solidified, you get the rush offense solidified, and then the rest of the team kind of carries the quarterback. Whereas the Chargers, we have the quarterback carrying the rest of the team. And
Mhm.
I think that's something that we are trying to figure out. We've been trying to figure out for so long, and it's just like, how long can we really wait to figure it out?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've been watching the Chargers for a long time. I've basically been watching all the teams just because of fantasy football and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And something I've noticed with the Chargers, they usually have quarterback figured out.
Yeah.
They usually do have a pretty solid ground game, not as of late since Melvin Gordon, but
Yeah.
and they usually have solid receivers. It's just they don't really invest in the trenches aside from maybe one player on each side. They haven't really had a good linebacker in a while,
Hmm.
and I know they're trying to invest in the secondary, which, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's Brandon Staley's specialty, more, DBs, if I'm not mistaken, but
I think he thinks very highly of the DBs. Yeah, he prioritizes them to a certain degree. I think.
yep,
Don't want to speculate too much, but yeah.
mhm. I mean, that's why, I mean, they've spent all that money on JC Jackson, wouldn't give up
Hmm.
what's his oh, Derwin James, there we go. I was blanking on the name for a moment.
Hmm.
But, not but it I'm just not seeing enough investment in the front seven. I know you all got Khalil Mack, but you're not getting prime Khalil Mack. I mean, he makes an impact like once every while, but he's
Hmm.
not making the every game impact like he did with the Bears at the start and the
Yeah.
Raiders before he got traded.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is really our lack of depth. We have Bosa and we have Mac, and obviously Mac is what, like 31 or so. He's maybe on the back end of it. He's not totally in his prime. He's still a really good player, and he led our team in sacks last season. It just means, like, we could bring in a 32-year-old, and that guy's gonna, he's not just anyone, but he can just jump in and lead the team in sacks by a lot too. I think he led the team in sacks by a lot. Obviously, Bosa was out, but it just goes to the point where you need to have the backups. You need to have the plan B pretty much everywhere. As for the 49ers, even if you guys lost Nick Bosa, I feel like you guys could still have a very good defense.
Yep, I agree because if you go back to the 2020 season, the total COVID
Yeah.
year, Nick Bosa got hurt the second game of the year, and the 49ers still had a top 5 defense because their D line was still pretty solid. You still have Fred and Dre Greenlaw,
Yeah.
and DB cornerback was a little bit of a rotating seesaw type of deal. But honestly, the point still stands. The defense helped out, and their quarterbacks they were just god awful, like with injuries that year.
Mhm,
But I do agree that they can survive if Bosa's out. I know 49ers fans will probably say, "Oh, but what about the Atlanta game last year when he missed that?"
mhm.
Which, I mean, a lot of people were hurt. It wasn't just him. But if Bosa has to miss a game or two, usually the 49ers are fine.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that just goes to the point of how your team is like run, how build the roster, which positions you invest the most in. And I think it's just a very big contrast between the Chargers. So, I might just pull up now the 49ers depth chart, and you can maybe tell me which positions are your weakest. Let's see.
Yeah, we're talking heading into the 2023 season, just to clarify.
Yes, this is, I believe, the 49ers' latest roster. So
Okay.
you give it a look. Let me know and I'm talking about depth too. Like, where is your weakness? Because when I look at the 49ers team, there's, you know, I'm not an expert on the 49ers, but I observe them. I know about them. You guys beat us, even though it was a close game. But I don't really know where you guys' weaknesses are, except for maybe quarterback. But Brock Purdy, very winning guy, very successful in his rookie year. So you let me know what you think about this roster.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So I'll just start up on offense. What I'll honestly do as a big sports fan myself is I'll sometimes think about, okay, how are the 49ers doing? I go from top to bottom, offense, defense, where they are, do they have everyone covered? And when you look at quarterback, running back, wideout, tight end, they're going to draft someone for some depth to spell George Kittle, but
Hmm.
otherwise, they're good to go. Because if you look at quarterback, Brock Purdy's a starter. Trey Lance is as of now, a backup with starter potential. Sam
Hmm.
Darnold, this is the first time he's in a really good situation. So I really think there's going to be a good chance that if he has to play, that he'll look decent because he looked okay towards the end of last year. He played better, but if
Hmm.
he's the third string quarterback, that's leaps and bounds better than say when Josh Johnson had to come in
That's
or
just depth, and I wanna contrast that to the Chargers quarterback room, which is Justin Herbert, and then the only other quarterback we have is Easton Stick, who's like this undersized D2 quarterback who, when he gets in, he's never like done a single thing in the NFL, and we keep re-signing him, and I don't know why. It's like we're we know we have no depth at quarterback. Maybe we'll get another guy in this offseason, but it's just like, again, I could just right away see the difference in the team. You have three possible quarterbacks. We have one, that we must rely on.
Mhm. No, yeah, no, you definitely I mean, I can speak for myself just watching the 49ers. You need second, third string quarterback, especially just you just never know with injuries. And I know with Stick, he actually used to play for North Dakota State, same school as Trey Lance. But I mean,
Mhm.
I do agree. I wouldn't be confident in him if he had a star, as far as I can tell. So yeah, so for how the 49ers got their situations figured out, I mean, they did that through the draft. So I definitely think the Chargers should use one of their draft picks to invest in a backup quarterback, maybe third, fourth, something like that, because
I can see that.
Justin Herbert's hurt. Oh, good.
I was just saying I could see that, even though we have a lot of needs. But yeah.
Mhm. Oh, and I see a comment says 49ers pass defense is mid-pack. Um,
Mhm.
so I'll clarify on that real quick, just going the defensive side of things.
Mhm.
Um, so what they don't list on ESPN is the nickelback spot.
Mhm.
And that's going to either Isaiah Oliver or Sam Womack. Sam Womack, he had a pick during the season, and he had a really good preseason, good special teams guy. So I think that in Isaiah Oliver, the guy they got from Atlanta, he was ranked like top 10 out of the
Mhm.
nickel cornerbacks. So there's going to be some good competition in training camp. Lenore had a really nice pre or postseason, got some picks, and Ward, good on run defense, really lays out the hits, and he can lock up one-on-one on the number one guys.
It's the
Um,
hits. It's the hits that I really admire about the 49ers. I think it's the
mhm.
hits is one of the biggest things that we're lacking. The hits. It's a real thing. It's football, and I really admire that about your team.
Mhm. Oh, yeah. I mean, Hufanga, he will lay it out. Dre Greenlaw, he will. What I do want to see with both of them, though, is I would love to see them just really work on the penalties because I understand it happens every once in a while, but you can't be taking 15-yard penalties, and it's going to cost you.
Hmm.
So that's something. I mean, yeah, you want players that can hit. Don't get me wrong,
Hmm.
but you also have to make sure that they can contain themselves.
Hmm.
Um, let's see, and then yeah, Fred also. Fred has those moments where he can be very sneaky. But anyways, going back to
Well, before we leave the cornerback, so how many cornerbacks do you have on the roster that you're like that you would be happy being a starting corner? Let's say you lose a starting corner. How many starting caliber corners do you have? Do you think?
I'm just checking the depth chart. In terms of outside cornerbacks,
Sure.
I would say I would say 2 for now,
Hmm.
because Sam Womack got some time outside,
Hmm.
and oh, yeah, and Ambry Thomas, he got some legit starters minutes, in 2021, and he got better with each rep. He did
Hmm.
he did have a little bit of a slump this past year, didn't get much playing time, did get injured toward the end, but if Ambry Thomas had to start, I'd be okay with that, and Sam Womack, young guy, upside, there are gonna be
Hmm.
some growing pains, but he's gonna take a similar path to Lenore, in my opinion, this upcoming season.
Hmm. Yeah. So how many would that be?
I count 1, 2, including the starters, and then Womack and oh, yeah, Ambry Thomas, and to clarify, the starters are Mooney Ward and Diamador Lenore.
Okay. Okay. So let me just. I could probably switch over to the Chargers real quick. We'll
Yeah.
switch back before between the teams. So you said you got four starting cornerbacks. As for the Chargers, we got Asante Samuel, very good pick, great pick. We got Michael Davis going to return. He stepped up huge with J.C. Jackson out. We're hoping J.C. Jackson comes back. That to me, that's three solid starting cornerbacks, and that's pretty good for a team, you know. And also, we have a couple backup, like rookie. They're going into their second year. Dean Leonard, Jasir Taylor. They played all right, I think, like on special teams and stuff. I would be very concerned actually if they were the cornerback, if they were had to be the starters. So to me, honestly though, this is one of our strongest positions. Three starting caliber cornerbacks. So yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I definitely heard of Jasir Taylor. I've heard his name quite a few times. So,
Hmm.
and JC Jackson, we know what he's capable of from his New England days. I'm just hoping that he can stay healthy and show what he's capable of because I'm hearing, oh, he's a bust. I mean, we don't know that yet. There's still time.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. You know, players have down seasons. You kind of can't. I can't. I don't really think you could really count a player out with off one season. You know, especially after he's had so many good seasons before. You know,
Hmm.
so I still have confidence in JC. I am kind of worried, but I do still have confidence. I think let's run it back. Let's go. You know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. I mean, you spent money on him, and the cap hit's not gonna. Cap hit's only gonna be easier to stomach, so might as well just give it a shot for a little bit.
yeah. Okay, so let's go back to the 49ers depth chart. I guess let's go to running back because I think running back is a hot topic for the Chargers right now.
Hmm. Yeah, so I would say for the 49ers, I think I'm gonna try to echo your sentiments for sure. So let's see, you have Eli Mitchell second. We all know about Christian McCaffrey, Eli Mitchell, Jordan Mason, TDP, Tyrion Davis Price. I would say aside from CMC, the 49ers have two really good running backs they can roll. Eli Mitchell, he is awesome. Sometimes he has better yards per carry than Christian McCaffrey. His thing is he just can't stay healthy. Story of the 49ers roster. And then you
Hmm.
got Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason, I love that kid. He is so good. He can bounce off tackles and he gets better. He plays with so much passion. So I absolutely love Jordan Mason. TDP, I mean, he's a third round pick. He's on the roster because of that draft status, but he's another Trey Sermon. He's not gonna be too hot, but I mean, point being, if CMC gets hurt, you have two running backs behind him that you can roll with. And I'm gonna say right now, um, any one of those three can start for the Chargers, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, you think they would start over Eckler?
Not Eckler, but
Yeah,
behind Eckler, yes.
yeah, I would definitely agree. Jason Evelich says, "Yo, what up, Jason? I just want to go. I'm gonna pull up real quick. I just pulled up 49ers team stats for the season. Christian McCaffrey, what? Okay, he played 11 games for you guys, so it came in what, like week 6 or 7, like
Week
that,
7.
right? So yeah, you didn't get a full season. So you got look at your running backs. You got 5 running. Okay, Debo is okay. You got 4 running backs over 200 yards, 700 yarder, 400, 200, 200. And I just want to, and then even Debo with another 200. And I want to contrast that with the Chargers depth chart. What I would say right off the bat, let me share this real quick, is just look at the discrepancy here. We got 900, which is more than your leading rusher, but he played all 17. Then we got Kelly, our backup running back, only not even 300 yards. He missed games, but Justin Herbert as our third leading rusher, 147 only. Sony Michel, 107. Isaiah Spiller was a rookie, only 41 yards. I just think that, again, like I've said it a lot of times, I think we're really ignoring the running back position. Austin Eckler, I think you would agree, is not really a bell cow. You need to support the guy. You need to get him a partner in the backfield. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, he's being used as a runner, as a receiver. The more
yeah,
you use him, the less his lifespan is going to be in the NFL. You just want to be able to preserve him for as long as possible. He's definitely gotten better. He's definitely useful, but you can't only use him, and you can't have running backs below him that are producing the way they are. I mean, Joshua Kelly, I mean, that's
yeah.
those are solid numbers. I'd be okay with him as a backup, but Sony Michel, Isaiah Spiller, like, you can't even get 3 yards
Exactly.
to carry. That's not gonna cut it.
Exactly. And I was saying on a good roster, Josh Kelly, I would like him as the third string. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah. He'd be a good third string, I think, but we need another two-headed. I want our 2 top running backs to be pretty similar in quality, and that we could like bounce it off each other.
Mhm. I
So,
mean, and I'll counter with, just like, our running back situation. I wouldn't say that Eli Mitchell or Jordan Mason, they're not CMC elite, but then again, CMC's just at a whole other level, like Hall of
mhm,
Fame potential type of player if he keeps this up. But,
mhm.
I definitely get where you're coming from. If CMC has to rest a game, the 49ers would still be just fine in the ground game, and I understand your sentiment of needing someone else who can help carry the load.
Exactly, because like if Eckler does get injured, it's amazing he lasted 17 games. It really is. If he gets injured, just like if Justin Herbert gets injured, we're in a lot of trouble. So I think that for us, running back is a very high priority. I would like to draft running back first or second round personally, just because they touch the ball so much, they give you so much production.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So all right, let's go back to the 49ers roster. I guess we'll go to receiver now.
Yep. So yeah, I know in the beginning we went back and forth a lot between, like, just quarterback and DB. So, and what I said about starting with quarterback is that from quarterback, running back, wideout, tight end, I'm pretty content with those spots. And now as for wideout, I especially feel that way because Debo and Ayuk. I know Debo's considered a wide back, but I would argue he might be their number 2 wideout right now, just because Ayuk's the traditional wide receiver, really, really good route runner. But with Debo, you can use him as a running back. You can use him in screens. You can even use him as a passer. Sometimes he's able to throw the ball. He just has a lot. He has a lot of different roles.
He's just an
Um,
athlete.
And then you
Yeah.
got Juwan Jennings as a third wideout. So if 49ers fans listen to Matt Mayoko's podcast, we all call him, or they all call him third and Jawan for a reason. Because when it's third down, you can reliably throw to him, and the chains will move. So
Mhm,
I'm very happy with the top 3. Then you got Ray McLeod. Um, so I mean, the stats aren't going to be too high for him, but when you use him
check
like
it out.
with short yardage throws, he has really good yak.
Mhm,
Because he had like a really crucial 40-yard play against the Raiders towards the end of the season. That's how I envision them using Ray. Um,
mhm,
I know the numbers are low, but they figured out how to use him in the second half of the season.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. So let's look at this. So you got 1,000 yard at the top, Ayuk, 765 from your tight end. Great season for him. I think he had a sneaky season, maybe, don't you think? 11 touchdowns? Did he really?
Yep.
Wow.
Brock
Uh,
Purdy.
yeah.
Brock Purdy got him a lot of those.
Yeah, wow. Security blanket, that's important, especially for a young quarterback. For all quarterbacks, really, though.
Mhm.
1,000 yards, 700, 600, 400, 400. So got a lot of, really spread out the receiving yards. Let's look at the Chargers now. Um,
Probably gonna
yeah,
be a little better up
y-
top. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah. So we got Mike Williams. He even missed a lot of games. 800. Josh Palmer is our third string receiver. 769. Then Keenan, 752. Running back Austin Eckler, 722. He almost got as many as Keenan Allen. He did play 7 more games though, so Keenan missed a lot of games. Everett, our tight end, 555. Pretty good season, 4 touchdowns. Carter. We had a lot of injuries this season, but I think like it's hard to me. For me, it's hard to tell with the Chargers if it's just that, you know, our receivers, is our receiver room that good, or is Justin Herbert just really that good of a quarterback? And kind of believe both. I think Justin Herbert can make it work with just about anyone. I think our receiver group can use a little spice to it. I think there's most of the Chargers fan base wants a speed threat, maybe first round receiver. And I could see it. It would be nice, but our pass game is always our strength. It is our strength. It was our strength. It will be our strength next season. I'd maybe like to go another route, trenches, D line or something, or running back. But maybe spend one nice pick on a good receiver and then go elsewhere for the rest of the draft. But what do you think about our receivers?
I would so just to go off your first point or point a little while ago, I will say I would say it's more likely that Justin Herbert is the one making these receivers really good because DeAndre Carter, he's been around since
Yeah.
we were in college in our early 20s.
Hmm.
And this was his best season by far. And he didn't
Yep.
really have a lot of traction before that. Gerald Everett, too, I would argue this was probably his best season.
Yep. I think.
I mean, tight end's basically like catcher in baseball, where it's the depth's very thin, but he definitely stood out there, I thought.
Mhm.
And then Joshua Palmer. Justin Herbert definitely helped elevate him. I have no doubt about that. But Palmer's
Mhm.
really good in his own right. He's been
Mhm.
slowly developing with Justin
Mhm.
Herbert, so they've been having chemistry for quite a few years now.
Yeah.
Mike Williams always had the talent, just
Mhm.
needed a up and coming quarterback to throw to him. And Keenan, I mean, I'm a big Cal football fan. I watched Keenan play in college. I knew he was good. I'm super happy to see that he made through year 10, still being the great player that he is. And he's got some spice to him. He would call
Yeah.
out the head coach a few times on Twitter when he was hurt.
Mhm.
So definitely bring in some attitude.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that, and I really like that. I think football and sports in general is more than just like doing your role. It's also like how you fit in to the chemistry of the team, the locker room, how you inspire the other players, how you lead, especially as a veteran. I'm a huge Keenan Allen fan. I'm a big fan of all these guys, really. So if I were to if you were to rate this group out of 10, what would you give it?
Um,
It's tough for
mm,
you to call because you're not a Chargers fan, but
that's
give it
oof.
your best shot.
I would say, like, just off of gut feeling, don't come for me, if any Twitter followers are
It's all
watching.
right.
I'd probably say an 8 if I had to guess, because
Yeah.
I would say mostly because I mean, you have 2, 3 good wideouts that you can roll with. I don't think DeAndre Carter's on the team. I think he signed elsewhere.
Hmm.
But it's one of those things where you usually wanna have 3 receivers to roll with, but
Yeah.
beyond that, I don't really think they have, anyone worth using at this point. So I would say if they had depth at wide receiver 4 and 5, I'd probably elevate it to a 9,
Hmm.
but Keenan's getting older. Mike Williams he's really good in the wide receiver 2 role, so maybe not they're not gonna be considered elite, but they're
Hmm.
gonna be really effective knowing the quarterback that they have.
Yeah. Real quick, let's rewind real quick to running back. What would you give our running back group?
Your running back group? Okay, so the depth's definitely worse, I will say that.
It totally
Um,
is.
hmm, I mean, Eckler's really good. Kelly, I take my running backs over Kelly if I had to be honest.
I
So
would too.
I'd say a 6 if
Yeah.
I because I think Eckler's a really good starter and Kelly's fine,
Hmm.
but beyond him, I mean,
Yeah.
I get where you're coming from because what made Eckler really good is that he also had Melvin Gordon at the time, helping carry the load also. So there's nothing wrong with having like a thunder and lightning approach. I mean,
Exactly.
for all the college football fans out there, Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards out of Michigan. I mean, you have Blake Corum take the first, second down touches and third down, give it to Edwards, boom, he's gone.
Yeah.
So it's you. There's nothing wrong with having two really good running backs, and I think the Chargers are lacking that.
Exactly. I totally agree. I would give him about a 6 out of 10 as well. And I think that I would I would overspend on running back, just to get the damn run game going. Just get the spark, just spark it up. And now I don't know if you heard, but Austin Eckler is fighting for a new contract extension, right?
Hmm.
He put out a quote saying he feels like the Chargers punched him in the face by cutting off extension talks, right?
Ooh.
So, yeah, exactly, and it's a replay of what happened with Melvin Gordon. And I don't want to go too far in the past because everyone hates when I bring up Melvin Gordon. So, okay, I'm not gonna do that. But it seems like a total repeat, and it's just like our running back group is already a 6 out of 10. We agree on that. uh, just dump the money into this group. Just freaking do it, Tom
Mhm.
Telesco. Just do it, dude. Like it's your last season. I truly believe the Chargers will draft running back first or second round just because we freaking need to. We just need to. Justin Herbert threw for the fourth most pass attempts in history, and he's on pace to have the most pass attempts per game in NFL history. And you could say, "Oh yeah, he's just a great quarterback," which he is, but it's also the fact that the team is not balancing the whole thing. It's just like, oh, we're all on you. It's just like this is what I'm kind of fighting against. Like whoever, I don't know who the heck even listens to me, but that's a big point of what I'm even talking about. I want to take the ball. Would you agree with this point? The Chargers should take the ball out of Justin Herbert's hands just because he's already doing too much. That's what I think.
So I'm not just saying this because you and I have been friends for a long time, but absolutely. I mean, you definitely want to take uh, take the ball off Justin Herbert's hands because I mean, I first player I think of is Drew Brees. I think after he won the Super Bowl, he would throw the ball all the time, and they didn't win a Super Bowl after that. And when he won the Super Bowl, I mean, he threw a good amount, but he also had a really good ground game to help ease the load a little bit. I think it was Pierre Thomas and
Mark
Reggie Bush
Ingram.
at the
Oh
time.
no, Reggie Bush,
No,
huh?
Mark Ingram was a little later, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with taking the ball off Justin Herbert's hands. You want that. I
Yeah.
mean, if you look at even with the Chiefs this year, Isaiah Pacheco really stepped up, had some really nice carries in the Super Bowl,
Hmm.
and that really opened up the Chiefs' offense. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, and I mean, I saw people getting into it with you about the fact that he threw so many passes, and you're trying to say, "No, he can't be doing that." I mean, you need a balanced offense. That's what's gonna get you to where you need to
Yeah.
go. 'Cause Justin Herbert is capable, but he can't be throwing the ball all the time, just like a pitcher
Yeah.
can't be pitching all the time, or else
Exactly.
the lifespan's gonna shorten in the league.
Exactly. And that's the thing. You cannot just put all your eggs in one basket, even if that basket is the nicest basket to have ever been freaking made. Even if Justin Herbert maybe is, even if he was the greatest quarterback ever, uh, Tom Brady still had the team around him. It's just, to me, it just seems like the management is just lazy. They're mismanaging this team. They're taking too many chances on some. They're missing too much on the drafts, and just in. I know that Justin Herbert would agree with me when I say that he should throw the ball less, and we need to invest in the run game. And I think every normal football fan would understand that. We need to just run the damn ball, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100 oh, 100%. I mean, just you can have both a good quarterback and a really good running back and a quarterback and two good running backs. Teams have won Super Bowls with a running back duo for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I think for the most part we're on the same page for most of this stuff. So let's just go on. We'll move on. We'll move on to tight end position. I guess maybe let's try and keep this one quick. You got George Kittle, Charlie Warner, and Ross Dwelly. What do you think about that?
So I mentioned at the start that we're going to be drafting a tight end, and there's a reason why. Kittle, phenomenal tight end, excellent run blocker, and really, really good pass catcher. He just needs a quarterback that can throw deeper than 5-10 yards, and he got that with Brock Purdy, hence why you saw the increased touchdown totals.
Hmm.
Charlie Werner, he's basically a run blocking tight end, but not really great as a receiver.
Hmm.
But you definitely you there is a role for people like him for the jumbo packages. Ross Dwelly, he's not the receiving tight end that he was, but he is. But he's with the team for a reason. I'm sure there's a chance he gets cut in training camp, but I will say that he had. I know why they brought him back, but he's not the best run blocker. He gets penalized quite a bit, so they need someone that can have similar production, not similar, but maybe in between George
Hmm.
Kittle and those two. Because quite honestly, if Kittle got hurt, they're not getting any help at tight end as of now. And Kittle's, I mean, just like what we're talking about with Justin Herbert and Eckler, they're not getting any younger. Kittle's about to enter his, I think this is going to be his seventh season coming up.
Wow.
That's definitely something we need to be aware of and try to ease a
Yeah.
load on him a little more.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I think I would say again, the theme of all of this is that you need to support your good players. You can't just leave them on the island to just do it again, 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 again every year, year. You have to just get them backups. That'll take the load off. Get the if we're talking about the receiving game, the pass game, get the run game going to take the load off. If it's the run game, you get the pass game going, get the defense going. You need to you got to spread the load out, and I think that is the key to football, really. I think
Mhm.
yeah.
Oh, no doubt. I mean,
Yeah.
part of the reason 49ers lost the Super Bowl, is because, they didn't have a lot of D-line depth at the time. A lot of people either got hurt or weren't ready, for rotational minutes, hence why Defoe got tired, Nick Bosa got tired, and Eric Armstead and D Ford weren't as effective. So I
Mhm.
absolutely agree. You need to spread the load. You need to have depth. Depth is super important. That was one of the keys in order to eventually hopefully we can eventually beat Kansas City, investing in the D line. But in terms of just going back to tight end, just we well, actually, the reason why we need to draft a tight end also is because even the run blocking tight ends didn't do a good enough job. Because Tyler Kropp, we had him at the time, like
Mhm.
his missed block did contribute to Brock Purdy injuring his UCL for why he might be out to start the year.
Mhm.
So I mean, Kittle can't do that all the time, and if you're gonna use, 2 tight end sets, you need a tight end that can reliably block, and you might need someone that can respect your receiving abilities. So, that's, like, definitely one of the main, like, weaknesses I see is just depth behind, George Kittle, especially since they use more than 1 tight end.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree. I guess let's go to the Chargers real quick. And the Chargers, I don't know, like I don't know too much about your backups, but I don't know if our tight end group might be worse than yours. It probably is, honestly. Gerald Everett, I think he's a hard runner, really good. I think he's a pretty dang good tight end. He runs with physicality and passion, and I really love that. That's exactly what I want in our players. But behind him, Donald Parham, he's been here for a while. Um, like let's just look at again our receivings. Everett here, Parham had 130 yards only. He only played 6 games even. McKitty down here, only our third string tight end had 72 yards only. That's and our second string tight end only played 6 games. So it's just like, again, we're like every single position, it just seems like we're putting too much on these top surface level starting players. Again, our tight end needs improvement. We have been mocked to draft first round tight end, high round tight end, and I could see it. I could see us drafting high level everything: tight end, receiver, running back, D line and linebacker, all that. So, yeah, that's about all I got to say.
Yeah, I would say your tight end two is better than our tight end two at this point in time, and so I would say your depth's a little better, but in terms of like top end talent, I mean Kittle easily does clear Gerald Everett, but Gerald Everett, he's good. He is good in his own right. I mean, if our
Yeah.
tight end two was Gerald Everett, we'd be set at that position.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's kind of the type of depth that you want. You want to have like the backup almost as good as the starter. Obviously, it's hard. The salary cap, whatever. But yeah, it is what it is. So, all right, let's move on to offensive line. This might be a good one. So,
Mhm.
yeah, you go ahead and go over your offensive line. Your starters, your backups, and what do you think about it?
Yeah. So in terms of the trenches, first off, Trent Williams, I mean, franchise left tackle, he's amazing. I remember heading into last offseason, a lot of 49ers fans were saying we got our tackles figured out in Trent and Mike McGlinchey, even though he's polarizing just because he's a little inconsistent. But they were very worried about the interior O line because Aaron Banks basically got redshirted in 2021. Jake Brendel, he was a backup to Alex Mack that year. And Spencer Burford, he's a fourth round draft pick. And by the way, I have his signature on his hat. So
Nice.
because he was a fourth round pick and he ended up being a starter, that just shows you how important it is to have such a good scouting team. Because now I'm heading into
Yeah.
this offseason being confident in Aaron Banks, being confident in Brendel, confident in Burford, because they did a really good job having a clean sheet. And if I'm not mistaken, only Mike McGlinchey allowed, I think he allowed the most sacks as the O line last year in the 49ers O line last year. So I was okay that other teams overpaid for him because I did not think he was a player worth investing in. So I know at right tackle we have Jalen Moore, Matt Pryor. Jalen Moore got some time last year. He definitely had his rookie moments, but maybe he benefited from it. Maybe he used it as a teaching opportunity to get better in the offseason. Matt Pryor. He's a backup. He got some starting time, and so I think those two, and then we should see. Oh yeah, Cole McKivitz. He's a backup to Trent Williams. He's currently the starting right tackle. I mean, he had to play for Trent against the Rams in 2021 to get to the playoffs, and he did fine. He did a good enough job, but in terms of needing a starting right tackle, I do think we need that. And I think another thing I want to say is I knew it would have to come through the draft just because we're pretty tight on salary cap. And you really need to nail right tackle. You need to swing as many times as you can until you figure out that position because it is so hard to trade for a lineman in the off season or during the trade deadline unless they're in a contract dispute. Um, you can I've noticed you can trade for edge rushers, pass rushers, but in terms of O linemen, they're really, really hard to find in the trade market. So for us, we have to nail that position in the draft because I don't know if the starting position is on the roster right now.
Yeah. That's interesting. What round would you, what round pick would you send at that position?
So I believe we have 11 picks in the draft. Our first pick's in the third round because we traded our second for Christian McCaffrey and our first for Trey Lance. Um, On so I don't I mean, I'm all about having as much depth as possible, but I maybe count like 5 or 6 like positions where they could use a little bit of an upgrade. Otherwise, it's just best player available or just having bodies. I'm okay. What they do is they package some of their picks, move up into the second round, get your right tackle then. Because there's a lot of premium talent in the second round usually. And this is something they need to nail
Mhm.
because you went through 4 quarterbacks last year. And I know I was saying how our interior line did a good job and Trent did a good job, but our right side, as well as our tight end too, they didn't do a good enough job keeping our quarterbacks healthy. So we need to make sure that this position gets nailed. And I don't care how many times you swing at it. I don't care how many late round picks, mid round picks you have to give up to move up. If you have your guy and you're confident he's going to start right away, you get him.
Yeah.
Especially since he'll be on a rookie deal for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, and I'm a big believer in, when you think that there's a guy that can really fit in, and and you really like that player, you just give it what you gotta give to move up to get that guy. Have some balls to just jump up and pull that trigger and get that guy. You know what I mean? Don't just we can't just live our whole lives waiting and hoping, crossing our fingers that the guy's going to fall to us and all these guys are going to come to us and we're going to just gather up the best roster. It's like, no, sometimes you got to just do it, and you got to be smart about it too. It's not just, just you can't just do it all the time. You got to be calculated and good at what you do really to be able to do that type of stuff. So all right, I'm going to move to the Chargers offensive line. I'll tell you what I think about the Chargers O line. We got left tackle Rashawn Slater, first round pick like 2 years ago. Great guy. He missed like the whole season though. That's our starting left tackle. Stud, cornerstone, left guard. I think it's actually gonna be Zion Johnson, our first round pick from last season. First round pick, did very well. I think he played every game. That's all there is to say about that. I really like the guy. He's gonna be a starter. Corey Linsley, he's getting a little older, center. He's very good at what he does, good starter. All right, move on. Then we got Jamari Salyer, who was a 6th-round pick, saved our freaking season, played left tackle for us once Rashawn Slater went out. It was the steal of the draft for us, huge pick. Good job, Tom Telesco, even though I'm so critical of the guy. And then we got Trey Pipkins. We signed this guy to a 3-year deal, $21 million, I think $7 million per season. I guess good enough for a right tackle. But then if you look at the backups, we got Foster Sorrell, Brendan Hymes, Will Clapp, Pleasance, and Trainer. I don't have faith in any of these guys. Really, honestly, I don't really have faith in any of these guys. And it's the story of the entire Chargers recent history, or at least, the past season or past couple seasons, just good starters, no depth though. And it's really got to fall on the GM. So again, we got not really any depth. Hopefully we address this in the draft. I give this group, if I'm literally averaging out over the starters and the the backups, I give this maybe a 7 out of 10. I give it a 7 out of 10 just because no backups, and if we lose players, there's 5 guys on the line, there's 17 games, we're probably gonna lose at least 1 or 2 or some of these starters, so it's just like we are on a boat with holes in the hull. It's we got a leaky boat, and we gotta just do better in how we handle this roster, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, honestly, usually I know on the 49ers end, we usually have 2 or 3 backups we can rely on should someone get hurt. And I know last year we had Daniel Brunskill as serving as a backup, and he could play all the positions if needed. And then they had Jalen Moore, Colton McKivitz, and so like they have all these people who are young, have upside, or have veteran experience who came in,
yeah,
and we're not like, oh man, this is the Brian Allen game. And Brian Allen, just for reference, was a cornerback who got lit up against Miami in 2020, and none of us heard of him up until that point. But
yeah,
with the 49ers O line depth, we don't have to be like, oh, this is the blank so and so type of game, because they usually have good enough depth to overcome
yeah.
injuries.
Yeah, you got to have backups that you have some confidence in. And I hate to be so critical on the team, but I have very little confidence in any of our backups. None of them have really shown the ability to step in, and just be the starter and push the starter for his position. All of these guys, it was always, okay, you're gonna step in, try not to screw this up, and just wait until the dude gets healthy. And I don't really think that's the right way to do things.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, seeing your offense, it's just Josh Kelly and Donald Parham Jr. I can see being a reliable backups at this point, and
yeah,
that's 13 players I can count, including the
exactly,
starters. You need more than that. It's a 53
exactly.
roster for a reason.
Exactly, and that's the thing. When you just look at the starters, it's like, oh yeah, we have a good roster. We can maybe push close to the Super Bowl or something like that. But when you look at the backups, and there's always injuries. Look at the backups. It's like hold your horses, man. Like I would not get so overconfident or whatever. I would really you know come in here with some skepticism. I think so. So all right,
All right, let's go.
let's go to the defense. So let's just go over your entire D line. What do you
Mhm.
think about it?
Yeah. So Bosa, obviously, he's a cornerstone. Eric Armstead. So some 49er fans are critical because his contract's part of the reason why DeForest Buckner had to get traded. But Eric Armstead's such a good run defender. He's really good at tipping passes. He's really good at opening rush lanes for players like Nick Bosa. At the time, the Ford, Arden Key, Charles Omenihu. He did a really good job opening things up. But the issue with the D line is that Nick Bosa, he would be the only one getting double digit sacks after the 2019 season. There hasn't been anyone else really to help out with that. So that's why when you see Javon Hargrave out of Philly, I believe he got 10 plus sacks this past season, key part of their D line that led them to a Super Bowl run. I mean, he's probably going to be the best D lineman next to Bosa since 2019. So if you think
Mhm.
the 49ers D line is already good, it's going to go to a whole new level at this point. And
Yeah.
Drake Jackson, I think he's going to take us a step up this upcoming year because he's a solid pass rusher. He can tip passes. He can step back into coverage and intercept balls every once in a while. So he has a lot of potential, and he's only going to get better. And then with the second string, they signed 2 reclamation projects in Cleveland Farrell, Austin Bryant. So they're meant to be depth. And then D tackles, you got Kinlaw, Kalia Davis. Kinlaw is a first round pick in 2020. He's a solid run defender, but he cannot generate pass rush. So that's why they had to get Javon Hargrave. Kalia Davis definitely has a lot of potential. And then Gibbons, he had to start some games last year. Good backup. T.Y. McGill, again,
Mhm.
he's still good depth. He still makes
Yeah.
plays every once in a while. No
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah. I mean, I even know Ty McGill. I've seen him. Wasn't he on the Chiefs?
I wouldn't know. I just
He's
know
a
he was on my
he-
team.
he's a big guy, isn't he?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I think he's like 6'7" or something like that.
Yeah, I think I've seen him on the field. I think he played for the Chiefs or something, and I was just like, "Dang, this dude is big, and I would like to have him on our team." And he's your fourth string. Your fourth string. It's like, damn, all the way down to
Mhm,
the fourth stringer.
mhm,
Okay, let's go to Chargers D line. Okay, we got Morgan Fox, we just re-signed him. I think he's more of like a rotational guy. Austin Johnson, I think he played all right. Sebastian Joseph Day played valiantly. Joey Bosa, and here Khalil Mack. Kind of got like a weird type of depth chart type thing. But again, it's hard to critique these guys just because our rush defense last year was 28th in the league. We were really bad, and we had a lot of injuries, so it's kind of hard to choose who was lacking. But I would just say I just want to improve at all the positions. Obviously Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, great. But I want guys behind all of these guys that are going to keep pushing them, keep motivating. Your spot is not safe. I don't care who you are. You got a guy behind you that's coming for your job. I don't care if you're first round pick, sixth round undrafted. There's guys behind you that are ready. And whether that be veterans, late round picks, mid round picks, whatever. What I see here is again a lack of depth. How many guys here I would be confident having on our team? Mac, Bosa, okay, Joseph Day, Johnson, Fox. Behind them, nobody. I don't have confidence in anybody behind that. So again, it's just the story of the entire roster not building depth at anywhere almost. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, again, I don't watch the Chargers closely, but I don't really recognize a lot of these names beyond the starters. I did see though that you added Eric Hendricks,
yeah,
so that's really good that you added to the linebacking core.
I
But
agree.
you need more than starters, and fortunately, you haven't had the draft yet, so there's a
Yeah,
chance if the scouting department does a good job, they'll be able to find depth at all positions like you're saying, but I agree, you definitely need to fortify your team, and that's honestly that could be part of the reason why you keep losing to the Chiefs just because
it
you
is.
you only have first string, you don't have second and third. Chiefs, I'm pretty sure again, I don't follow the Chiefs that closely, but
Yeah.
every time from first to fourth quarter, someone's always stepping up, and it's not always a starter. So,
Again, okay, let me know if you would agree with this sentiment. First of all, the Chargers always lack physicality, aggression, depth, or whatever, just the way that the type of players that they're looking for, the Chargers are just not really those nasty guys that you really think of as football players. We usually get like the nice guys, the guys that are finesse, they're fast or whatever, they, have good qualities in some sense. But when it really comes down to hitting the other team, really being nasty like the 49ers, I just think we're just lacking that culture. And that is exactly what keeps on holding us back every single season. Just, guys will get injured and then it's just like, fuck, now we're screwed. Just fucking, let's just band-aid it. Let's just hope, just hang in there, and just let's just hope we scrape by, and it's just like, oh man, it's just, I don't think it's being run properly, this team, honestly.
yeah, I'm honestly, I would say just from an objective standpoint, the only player I can think of that has that dog mentality, which I'm sure is what you're implying, Derwin James. I know he hits hard. And I Joey Bosa, but the thing with Joey Bosa, as you saw in the Jacksonville game, he needs
Yeah,
to keep it under control for sure.
yeah,
But you don't have Fred Warner's, and Fred Warner, he has that nasty attitude. He has that football player mentality. He hits hard. He'll challenge his guys, but once they're off the field, he's a fantastic person. So,
yeah.
but you need someone who can unleash themselves on the football field, like Brandon Ayuk. I mean, he just plays super hard. He's so locked in, and you'll see Debo knocking mouthpieces off of other teams. So, I definitely agree that you need more dogs on the team that will get you to that next level because you haven't had that in a while. And like you were saying, this team has been the same for what, like 10 years? I haven't thought of the Chargers as a hard hitting, tough team
Ever.
at that time.
Never. Never really. And it's just, when you think about that, it's not a surprise that we are overhyped and disappoint. Yes, we have Justin Herbert and some guys, but this is football. It's not flag football. This is tackle. This is hitting football. You gotta you gotta be able to just be some dogs and be like, no, we're gonna smack y'all in the mouth. I don't care who the heck we're lining up against. We're gonna out physical you. And maybe our quarterback's not having a good day. Maybe our running back's not having a good day. Our defense, whoever, the rest of the team is gonna step up because we're some grown ass dudes and we're gonna just freaking, we don't care. We're gonna play balls out, and I think that we are kind of like a timid team a little bit, like a little like we're looking around, like who's gonna help us out here. It's like, no, you are gonna be the one to help us out. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, I remember. So, just for everyone's reference, Gabe and I, we went to the Chargers 49ers game, and we were walking around trying to get to our VTA. And throughout that entire walk, I kid you not, Gabe kept mentioning the whole time, Tom Telesco sucks. Fire Tom Telesco. Look at his record. Only first, second round appearances, 3 of the past 11 years. That's not acceptable. And I kept telling him, I mean, I'm not just saying that because I'm a supportive friend. I agree. It's just they're not doing enough to take themselves to the next level. It's not just quarterback. Literally, look at the Chiefs. They've won 2 Super Bowls for a reason, and you have comparable quarterbacks. So
Yeah.
I'm with you on that one.
Exactly. And the thing is, like, yeah, we want to support our teams, but when you just continually make the same wrong decisions, and it's been fucking 11 years, dude, and the furthest we've gone is the divisional round twice, it's just like, dude, who is running this? Who's this captain, dude? Who's up here? Three, three out of 10 seasons we made the playoffs, never got into the AFC Championship. It's like, why, with Philip Rivers and Justin Herbert now, this team is just being mismanaged. It's so obvious. I know I get so much hate because I bring up these points because we want to be positive. We want to, say that things are going to be all right. Next year's our year. But until these guys show me something different, I just can't believe them. I just can't do it.
I honestly think as of now, you're gonna see more of the same unless they have I mean, they might have a really good draft, and you might be able to see them win a wild card or maybe even make it to the AFC Championship, but they have to nail the draft. You gotta get involved in the trade deadline because I'm with you. It's only first string. You need second, third stringers, and you do thing is, Tusco has multiple chances to nail those components. And something I'm actually curious about is your cap room. How much cap room do you have? I mean, I know you have to extend Herbert soon.
Yeah. Well. First of all, I see Calvin Owen saying, our good friend Calvin. I miss you, Calvin. Says Herbert is no Mahomes. That's true. Nobody is. Nobody is anyone else. Mahomes is a winner. Obviously, he's proven it. He's been on a better team, I'd say. But Herbert, I do believe, has the potential. So that is how I'll address that. I still miss you, Calvin. And
Mm.
as you were saying, the salary cap, yes, we are strapped for cap. We can make it work though somehow. You could push off money to the back or do whatever you got to do. But we all have the same amount of money. There's really no excuses, I don't think.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, everyone says with the 49ers every year, "Oh, they're still strapped for cap." Yep, they traded for Christian McCaffrey,
Yeah,
this past season, and that 100% elevated their offense. That 100% took it to another level. They need that infusion that will take their
yeah.
backup to a whole new level because
And
you'll see the 49ers when, like, 3 or 4 players get hurt, the train still keeps rolling, and we deal with injuries every freaking year.
everyone does, and you got to just be ready. And you just, yeah, Calvin hit it on the head. We're missing the dogs. We're missing the freaking dogs. We need the freaking the golden retrievers. We need the freaking bloodhounds. We need the freaking German shepherds. We need the chihuahuas. We need dogs. That was a joke, but yeah, we need the dogs. So um, don't want to beat the horse to death or whatever the heck the saying is, but it's so true. And after a while, after you see the same things, the same patterns, the same things that are holding us back, it's just like, dude, we need to break out of this matrix. We need to get dogs. We need to fill out the roster. We need to do better with our drafting. We need to target. We need to allocate our money differently. And when we are in the middle of a season or before the season and we have holes that are really going to hold this team back, we got to put our balls on the table and just do it. Pull the trigger and just make something happen. You can't wait for next year. No more next year. It's like, what is this dude, Tom Telesco, have a lifetime contract? You know, like, what the hell?
I mean, I could be wrong, when I make this comparison. I mean, given your roster and what I know with, Trent Baalke GMing the 49ers, before John Lynch, I'm seeing a lot of the same things. I know you nail your first round picks, but throughout your roster, I don't know. I don't see who was in the second round aside from Keenan Allen, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
and that was Trent Baalke's issue. He
Hmm.
did horrific when it came to rounds 2 through 7, and his free agencies were very, very, mediocre, and I know with the Chargers this offseason, it's just Eric Kendricks. I mean, that's good, don't get me wrong, but, like, that's not enough, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we literally agree on almost everything. Because yeah, Eric Kendricks is a great player. We needed inside linebacker help very, very badly. But one guy will never take you to the Super Bowl, dude. It's like it's a 53-man roster. You need everyone. And Calvin Owen again talking about we have no killers. We need the Draymond Green type. I mean, I don't know if we need killers, literally. We don't need that. No, thank you. But we need nasty dudes. So yeah, definitely beating a dead horse. I miss you, Calvin, though. So let's move on. Let's just wrap this up. I think the last position maybe is inside linebacker. So you go over your inside linebackers, then I'll go over mine.
Yeah. Usually sometimes the 49ers go back and forth between 2 and 3 linebackers. We had Aziz Al-Shire for several years, and he would be the weak side linebacker, or I think it's strong side linebacker actually, my bad. But yeah, but I know the depth chart says they go with 3 running backs. They usually don't. What they'll do is they'll take off the SLB and they'll replace it with the nickel back, which will probably be Isaiah Oliver to start the year. But Fred and Dre, I love those 2. Those are the type of dog players that Gabe's talking about. Like you all need players like him. Fred, he's great in coverage, he tackles.
Because
He
let me just interject. You
Go for
need
it.
those type of players to give the rest of the team confidence also. Like if I'm going to war, I want to be going to war next to some freaking mean crazy ass like freaking these dudes should not be scared. I don't want if I'm going next to like a little like a nicer guy, I don't want to be mean, but again, I want to go next to guys that are freaking mean. And I'm like, yo, I'm going to hide. I might just go behind this guy, let this guy go first. Like that's the guys you want everywhere. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yep,
Yeah.
that's what Fred and Dre do.
Yeah.
They're both fantastic with their roles. I wouldn't say they're Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman type. Those 2 were just absolutely unreal together. But I would definitely say they're comparable, and we have them both under contract for a good while. They're both in their primes, and I'm blessed to have them on the team. And the best part, Dre was a 5th round pick, Fred was a 3rd round pick. Neither of them were 1st round picks, and they're both such key components of our defense.
Mhm.
Just to go with the depth, Demetrius Flanagan-Foles, he's been with the team since I think 2019, 2020. So he's been getting better every year. Good depth. Curtis Robinson, special teamer. Marcelino McCrary Ball, he's getting a little better. And then Oren Burks, also again more of a special teams. I think he's the special teams ace, if I'm not mistaken. But I so just going up with the depth comment, we definitely do need another linebacker in my opinion. So I think they have guys that they can rotate in and out every once in a while. But I think you need one more player because they only need 2 linebackers. They don't need to have 3. They only play 3 because Aziz Al-Shire was just stupid good. But
So,
they can live with 2 linebackers, and I think they'll find a way to draft one in the draft, and they should be good to go.
so if you had injuries, how many inside linebackers do you think that you have that are capable of, starting playing a game?
Um, right now, Just I mean, I will say if we lose either Fred or Dre as of now without Aziz Al-Shire, it's gonna be a little tricky. I recognize 3 names, and because they all got playing time in spurts, I'd be okay if those 3 got time in and out, but would I be would I be a little worried? Yes, but they're not bad. They don't make bad plays. They don't cause 20, 30-yard runs every play.
They're not like liabilities.
Not as of right now from what I've seen. They're neutral, like, they don't make a huge impact, but they don't completely screw up.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the Chargers now. Inside linebackers. Like, okay, thank God we got Eric Kendricks, but we lost Drew Tranquil, who was our other inside linebacker. And then we have Kenneth Murray. Listen, we had Drew Tranquil and Kenneth Murray. We were the 28th ranked rush defense. Obviously, inside linebacker has to take some blame, right? So okay, we lost our starting inside linebacker. Fine. I could see this guy walking. I could see us trying to replace him. Eric Kendricks, great dude. I'm so happy to get him coming from the Vikings, known for their defense. That's the type of players I want to fill out this roster with. So Kenneth Murray has kind of been a disappointment. Don't want to be rude again, but he's not a guy that I'm like, oh yeah, we got Kenneth Murray. So yeah, so it's kind of still a little sketchy, a little risky there. but he's under his rookie contract. He was a first round pick too. You're talking about you drafted Dre Greenlaw and the other guy in the 3rd and 5th rounds, and this guy is in a first rounder, and he's still. I would rather have your guys. So that just means that our scouting department, our general manager, is fucking up. They're fucking up. They're fucking this shit up everywhere almost. They're fucking up. They're just not. They're not doing good enough. And the backups, Nick Neiman, Bonda Miga, who are these dudes? These dudes can't do nothing. No, dude. Like our inside linebacker, huge, huge liabilities. Again, and it's just like everywhere. I cannot count on any of these position groups to make a whole 17-game season and really give us a top defense. It's just like, dude, I'm worried. I'm just worried.
And honestly, I don't blame you one bit. I mean, just just from someone who knows football well enough and who pretty much watches every team through NFL Red Zone, I definitely understand your sentiments of being worried, concerned, because I know this is your favorite team of all of them, and they're continuing to do the same things of being good enough, but not like the best. I mean,
Yeah,
we're I mean, I consider myself a Bay Area sports fan. I also watch like the Sharks in hockey. I see so many comparisons with the Sharks and Chargers
I do
because
too. I
it's
do
just
too.
they do the same like when the Sharks had their playoff teams, they basically do the same thing of cycling in and out, but it's never enough to get over the hump.
Hmm.
They never really have I mean, hockey's a totally different sport, but just trust me when I say they do the same thing, but they've only gone as far as, like, just losing 4-2 in a Stanley Cup final series, and they got heavily outplayed because of speed, so that's just it's good enough, but not the best, and it's the Chargers, it's too much of the same, but you haven't even gone past the 2nd round since, we started high school, and,
Dude, I
that's
was like
way
I
too
was like
long.
11. I think I was 11 when they made the AFC Championship. And
Mhm.
especially with great quarterbacks, you should just expect to push for that AFC Championship every fucking year. We shouldn't just be hoping. Oh, hopefully we make the wild card. Hopefully we scrape into the 7th seed. Hopefully we get that seventh. Hopefully with that 7th seed, we got Justin Herbert, bro. Hopefully we make the fucking Super Bowl. Like what the hell is going on, dude? And yeah, I mean, I'm hoping I just repeat the same shit, and a lot of people don't like to hear it, but I would you agree with what I say?
Y I told you what I don't agree with, but I basically agree with everything you're saying, and I will just say, like, for all the listeners, I mean, just regarding Melvin Gordon, I he's he needs someone like Melvin Gordon on the team who
Yeah.
can get 1,000 yards, who can take the load off Austin Eckler, who can move the ball on 1st and 2nd down. It doesn't have to be Melvin Gordon himself, but someone like him. So, just, chill out a little bit, don't get on my boy here, because trust me, if you get someone like Melvin Gordon, prime Melvin Gordon in the offseason or in the draft, you're gonna have a much better team. You're gonna win a playoff game and maybe even make it to the conference championship against Kansas City. That would be great to watch.
Exactly. Exactly. When I talk about Melvin Gordon, I'm not really talking about we need Melvin Gordon himself. I'm talking about we need that presence. The presence of the big dude who's just a beast, and you could just keep giving him the damn ball, and he'll keep fighting up there. You can't just be this soft little, oh, hand it to the 5'8" running back, get him stuffed for 1 yard, and then throw it every single play. It's just like, bro, oh my god, like I don't know. We need power backs, we need dogs, we need beasts, and I have so much admiration for the 49ers because I think that's how you build a football team. And even though yes, quarterback is the most important position, but you don't necessarily need the best quarterback to win, to have success. You don't. You know, there's 53 men. There's an offense, a defense, pass, rush, you know, all these other things. And you can survive. You can do very well. And you can see with the 49ers, they don't have the best quarterback at all. And maybe we have the best quarterback, and they're way exceeding our, you know, standards. They're doing way better than us. And it's just the way the team is managed, the way the roster is built, the culture, you know, how the thing is run is just superior. And that's what it really is to me, I think, you know.
Yeah. Honestly, just John Lynch's philosophy: build up, build on the D line. Everyone else will come. And he trusts his offensive minded head coach to make his running backs excellent because of his scheme. And he has a great scouting department that nails picks in the second, third,
Yeah.
fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. A lot of the players that mentioned on the 49ers, they're not all first round picks. A
I
lot
know.
of them,
Yeah.
good portion are mid-round picks, good portion are late-round picks. Some are even undrafted, like Jordan Mason. So I mean, I don't know if you see 49er fans tweets and stuff like that, and you probably see Charger fans, but people complain about John Lynch all the time, and it's like, you gotta be kidding me with that. Like, you realize that Browns fans would be wishing we were in our spot of having 6
Chargers fans would.
yeah, like 6 NFC championship appearances in about a decade. Lions fans who haven't even won a playoff game in our spot.
What did you just say? Six what?
6 NFC title appearances in, like, 11 years.
Oh my god, bro. I almost want to just throw these headphones off right now and walk out. Six
Yep.
NFC championship and we have zero, you know?
Mhm. And the part of the reason why is because, I mean, the GM before Trent Baalke drafted a lot of the players for Jim Harbaugh, and then John Lynch, he turned the 49ers around, and I think they're gonna be a little more sustainable because the head coach GM dynamic is a lot better. So, but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's important to nail the GM. It's important to nail the scouting department. It's important to just have great depth all the way around.
And and it's important not to accept failure, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
and that's a thing. George Kittle famously said after the Super Bowl loss, "I will be back. I will be back with a vengeance." And I know the results may not show it in terms of make back to the Super Bowl, but I genuinely do believe they're a lot closer because they're going to get quarterback figured out. They're really close. They have their D line figured out. They're gonna have their best D line, I think, since 2019 with Javon Hargrave. And their O line, they have interior O linemen that can neutralize Chris Jones. They're going to figure out right tackle. I trust the scouting department. Like, those were all the weaknesses that held the team back.
Mhm.
And all we need is a quarterback that doesn't fold in the fourth quarter like Jimmy did. Brock's not going to do that. He's already easily outplayed Jimmy in the playoffs. So we're really, really, really close. And I'm thankful to have the leadership up top that we do. And I hope that my friends who support certain teams get to experience that, including the Chargers, because even though it's an LA team and Bay Area traditionally doesn't like LA, like, there's no reason to hate the Chargers because they deserve it, and
Yeah.
they're building their fan base, and
Yeah.
you know that the people who support the team, they're true fans because they overcame a relocation, and they're helping some of the LA or Orange County people find an NFL team they can grow to enjoy. So
Yeah.
keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. And you know, Chargers fans probably would have left a long time ago if you know, it was that easy. But okay, so let's wrap this up. Maybe let's go back and forth. We'll say we'll start with the 49ers. What do you think they need to do this offseason to get a Super Bowl? And maybe I'll go first. And I
Yeah,
don't
you
really
go first.
know. I don't really know. I think you guys are already a very solid team, very, you know, everywhere really. What I would do if I were you, maybe target um another great receiver, a speed receiver. I don't know. Maybe your defense already killer. Maybe you get a top cornerback. I'd probably get a top cornerback, I would say.
Mhm.
But again, like I think that you could even skip the draft and just go into next season and have Super Bowl hopes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think they're gonna be competing, next season, no doubt. I think what they still have to do in the draft is, find a undrafted, free agent quarterback that they like to serve as a practice squad quarterback. I'd like for them to get a fullback to spell Kyle Juszczyk down the road because he's getting older.
Hmm.
Right tackle, like I mentioned earlier, they need to figure out. Um Take a swing at 2D linemen just for depth purposes. Why not? Linebacker. Everything I'm saying is depth. I'm not saying the 49ers depth is bad, but that is what you need. I'm talking third string guys potentially. And
Yeah.
Chargers, they barely even have second string guys. So what I'm saying is, like, to echo his point, because I'm talking about third guys in the rotation typically, that's what you need to become Super Bowl contenders. And lastly, I think they're gonna need to get a safety to spell to Sean Gibson because he's a older, but he's somehow doing great again. I'll
Mhm.
take it. He's a ball hawk. Get another cornerback. Why not? I mean, they lost Emmanuel Mosley. We miss him, and they could use a little help in that area. And I would say just, I mean, assuming Zane Gonzalez and the kicker they draft, probably Jake Moody out of Michigan, assuming they do well, I would say the most important thing, either Brock Purdy continues to develop and get better, or Trey Lance does so good that we keep Brock Purdy on the bench. Trey Lance lights the league up, and we have Joe Montana, Steve Young all over again. So I think what it comes down to, fortify the depth all the way across, hope for the best for Brock Purdy, and if we need to, Trey Lance does not get Brock Purdy the job. And I think if all that happens, I think we got it.
Yeah. And I think that you guys are in just such a good place in terms of your whole entire team, which I don't want to be so mean, but I think the Chargers are in a tough spot. I would say if I was to predict the roster or the season again this in 2023, I'd say another, hopefully a wild card spot. Hopefully we can make it to the second round, and that's just not good enough in my opinion. So I would ask you, what would you do this off season to fix the Chargers?
Um, Honestly, if I were your owner, is Dean Spanos, right? He's the one in charge. Fire Tom Telesco, honestly. Fire Brandon Staley. I'm gonna be honest. I
What?
do I do think Brandon Staley should be fired. I don't know how the team overcomes that blown lead. I mean, Dan Quinn blew a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I won a playoff game, but they never got that far. But
Hmm.
I would say if I had to pick Telesco or Brandon Staley, fire fire Tom Telesco first and foremost. And also, like I said, just get depth everywhere, best player available at any position. I don't care what it
Yeah.
is. Try to get more draft picks as much as possible. I'm gonna be brutally honest. If you can trade Joshua Kelly or even whoever your second string tight end, Donald Parham. Honestly, if you can trade either of them for late round picks in this year's draft, you do it. You start over. You swing on double digit players. You hope undrafted free agents do well. You trade for people before training camp. You trade for people before the deadline. You just have to swing for depth. You have your starters. Notice I'm saying I'm not saying to trade any of the starters. Do whatever you have to do
Yeah.
to trade for depth. That is the most important thing.
Yeah. And I actually totally agree with you. Again, I think we've agreed this whole entire time. I agree. You gotta just hit your freaking draft picks. Get the backups. There we got no backups nowhere. We have no backups. We're gonna have injuries. And we just gotta fill the roster better. We need running backs, another speed receiver, a tight end. We have no O line depth. We got no D line depth. We got no DN depth. We got no inside linebacker depth. We got no safety depth. It's like holy shit, dude! Like what the fuck is about to come up right now this season? Let's and for me, I just feel bad for Justin Herbert, and I feel bad for Austin Eckler and these other stars that are going to be expected to play 100% of the snaps, and it's just like it's just like, who the hell is running this thing, you know? So I think we're a broken team. It's very harsh. We struggled to get to where we were last season. I mean, we did good. We're 10-7, but again, Justin Herbert is, I think he's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, one of the best quarterbacks to ever play. And we got to support the guy. We can't just go pass, 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 pass. It's pass, run, stop the run, stop the pass. You know.
Yep. I mean, you nailed it. And I hope that you get players that will fortify your depth. And just like with me, like in the Sharks in another league, and just hoping that they become better really soon. They find a way to turn it around. I hope you all find a way to turn around, become consistent playoff contenders. Because I mean, I think we've seen our upside with Tom Telesco being the GM. I don't think it's gonna get any better in my opinion,
You neither.
and it's been over 10 years. I don't think he's gonna suddenly figure it out in year 12. I can't really think of too many examples where this is the case and across all the sports I watch.
I just don't know how he's still there, to be honest. I would say our top priority. I don't know if you would agree with me or not, but from an outsider view, I would say running back is our number one priority. What would you think?
Um,
Kind
yeah,
of
I
tough
would say I
call.
would I would say depth at running back would definitely lead to the most immediate impact, no doubt. Um, like, yeah, I would say running back for sure. Um,
And then
yeah,
everywhere else.
I would definitely and I would also I'd say, I mean, just like do what John Lynch does with the 49ers, invest in the D line. If you invest in the D
Yeah.
line, it
Hmm.
makes the DBs look good, that makes the linebackers look better. Just invest in the D line as much as you can, but if you get, like, Bijan Robinson, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but, if you get someone like him or someone super good in the draft or free agency, then, you're gonna see an immediate impact, immediate change, and a whole other dimension to the Chargers offense that no one's probably seen yet.
Exactly. And I think that's literally the first step is to get the run game going, take the pressure off Justin Herbert, balance the team, and just get this thing going on all cylinders, not just one cylinder. And that's really all there is to say about the team, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely, I'm with you.
So let's do one final wrap up. Let's predict each other's records and how the season is going to turn out. For me, I predict you guys are going to win. I'll give you 12 or 13 games, you know,
Mhm.
and I'll give you 12 and 13 games, and I'll say, you know, it'll be tough to just put you guys at the Super Bowl, but I'll give you guys another NFC championship. I think that would be just sounds about right to me.
Alright, that's a deep playoff run, a fun season. I'm totally up for that. As for you all, with the roster I see right now, um,
Don't
I
don't
think,
don't hold back.
um, I I think I can see them being 9 and 8, getting the 7th wild card spot, and having to play someone like Cincinnati or Buffalo, and I think you'll upset if you were to play Cincinnati, you probably upset them somehow, but you get smoked in the 2nd round. But I do think the record's gonna go down. You'll get lucky in the wild card round, but that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's a very fair prediction, a very unbiased prediction. I think a lot of our fans are predicting a lot more, maybe like 11 win, 12 or so. But I would agree with that. I would say 9 win or 10 win, 11 win being the high side, just because we have no run game, not balanced team. I would say that's a very fair, and that's probably what I would predict too. I would agree with you there again. So. So yeah, I think maybe we'll wrap it up there. Let me chug my beer. It's been a great talk. We're about to hit an hour and 30 minutes. Been great talking with you, Josh.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad we were able to talk football for a good while, and it's getting me excited for the season. I mean, we both experienced heartbreaks in January for our football teams, but I mean, we're moved past it. It's done. It's over. Training camp's in the horizon. Drafts coming up later this month. There's a lot. There's a lot to look forward to, and I can't wait.
Yeah, and I would say it's kind of not fair to predict the season now, but because there's so much more to do. But yeah, right now, I think we both had very fair predictions. So yeah, I really appreciate you coming on, Josh. I love you, bro. We should hang out soon in real life,
Yes,
and
sir.
let's do this again. Maybe before the season starts, maybe after the draft or something.
Yeah, I mean, just anytime you want me on, I'm happy to come in.
Oh yeah, appreciate it, bro. I love your insight. I think you offer a lot of really good, knowledge outside of the Chargers. A non-biased type of thing. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been great. I appreciate it, man.
All right, I'm gonna end it now. Thank you, bro. I'll see you around, right?
Yep, see you around. Take care.
All right, hell yeah.